Hi, everyone. Welcome to What Just Happened. I'm Christine Russo. What follows is an on site interview at NRF 2026 with James Hughes, Retail CTO, Verizon Business. Welcome, James. It's great to
Thank
have
you.
you
Yeah,
here.
no, lovely to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into some questions as it relates to
Yeah,
Verizon and NRF and whatever else might be happening at the start of 2026. So I'll start with this question.
yeah,
How is AI powering the next wave of retail innovation and the network infrastructure needed to support the tech-driven future?
yes. So to your point on storytelling, because everyone's selling AI in some different shape or form factor, and lots of it is siloed individual things for either e-commerce or personalization or something else. And what we're talking to our customers about is that, for example, in grocery, 20% of a store worker's time is spent taking a customer to an item in the store. Does this resonate with you, or?
It does in this way.
Yeah.
So first of all, I really hate going to other grocery stores because I freak out because I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
Okay, but sometimes you have to. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Where is
hi,
stuff?
can
Yeah.
you show me where
Wow.
and then they're like, come with me. And they walk you over to
Yeah,
someone who
100%.
knows.
Yeah. Oh wow. So it's
Oh my God, I could have done that.
yeah. So again, we talk to customers because you learn when you talk to the actual customers. What's the pain point? What are they trying to do? Where's the opportunity to bring something with a beginning, middle, and an end where we can add value that's going to help them deliver something interesting or meaningful business value on that. And we validated that with different customers, and they have different views. Is it 12%? Is it 20%? But it's meaningful. Because what we're looking at is, could we, with the right level of infrastructure and integration, it's not going to be a Verizon alone thing, this is going to be bringing the ecosystem together, but could we bring the players or the actors in the story together to deliver that end-to-end solution to make it easy for the retailer to buy and consume and operate, but that delivers that productivity gain opportunity from 20% to 15%. And then as part of that journey, could it help improve staff doing online order fulfillment in stores, so that me, having never been into a store to pick stuff for a basket for a customer online order, I could be as quick as someone that's been doing it for 10 years because I'm using technology to find the item quicker than I can do through conventional ways. And then could that same infrastructure support immersive customer journeys? So we did, in the spirit of storytelling, when Wicked came out, Tesco did an activation, we delivered some innovative thoughts around that, around turning the customers into the witches. So you walk into a Tesco store, you either become Glinda or Elphaba. And we used virtual try-on to do that. It was a really nice piece. We ended up winning a small award for it. But the point is, it drove footfall to the store. The dwell time in the aisle was very high. You could tell by the way people were engaging with it, that it was driving the right thing. So could we, with the right infrastructure that could provide these other benefits, what if that could be part of a retail media campaign where some of the characters could be in the store and guide you? Would you then purposefully go to a different store because your family or someone held close to your heart loves this particular show or program? It's part of a campaign with a well-known brand, but it's in a different retail environment. Would that be enough to make you go and explore that? And then when you go there, you're unlikely to then go to your other store to buy your stuff. I'm here now, we're going to do this experience, I might as well see what they've got on offer on groceries or whatever. So we're trying to get them to think about doing more around the customer experience and the staff experience. So to your point on, they don't know where it is themselves, they have to go and find someone that does know where it is. The same solution could help the staff member, find it first time. So again, and using the same technology and platform integration of partners, could you walk in and say, I've got Christine and Erin coming for dinner, one's vegetarian, one's gluten-free, we're all doing dry January, what the hell am I going to cook? So the AI assistant, which we've built as an AR character that could be anything, could inspire you to, what about this type of food? And you could do these virgin cocktails, and would you like me to add it to your basket or show you where it is? So these are the kind of, we're trying to use storytelling, and you might say that's not true storytelling, but we're trying to use that story and that imagine to help us validate, is it something they want to do? And because we've built some of this stuff, we can show them what it looks like. And it's bringing them to the table, and it's bringing the partners to the table, like the big hyperscalers that would sometimes be, we do the cool stuff. I was like, we're doing the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want us to put it in your hyperscaler environment, or do you want us to bring in someone else? So it's a nice conversation at the moment. We were talking, I was at a Microsoft EPAM event yesterday, and the whole agentic commerce story coming up, and you've got on-site and off-site from an online perspective, and obviously the retailers don't own the off-site version, so that customer experience at the tail end of the buying journey, they don't own that. But ChatGPT doesn't have a store. It can't get you to the store and inspire you and wow you and show you different things that you don't know you need and experience discovery in a different way. And I think the stores are still the superpower that they have, that the retailers have. And hence a lot of investment going into employee enablement. So I think in the survey we've done 2 times more investment in colleague enablement, a lot of it in AI investments. So how can the employee have the ultimate data? If you're in a luxury brand, having the CRM data, your purchase history, knowing how much you like particular looks and being able to recommend things for you, or even in grocery, to a point, helping a customer navigate to something quickly and easily. Lots of tech being deployed in the store. More phones for the staff, or more integration with different applications in there. I'm sure all of the AI providers are trying to talk to them about that. But unless that phone is connected, it's a wasted investment. And there are black spots or in the in-store infrastructure in terms of where the Wi-Fi isn't particularly good. So how can they have the right level of infrastructure that supports the phone? Because they're spending a lot of money to give staff phones and applications that drive value, but they need to think about the other side to make it work.
How is 5G and emerging immersive technologies reshaping the customer experience and boosting operational efficiency?
We hosted a CMO dinner with Maurice Levy from Publicis. I had to do a minute or 2 on Verizon Business in the context of 60 global CMOs. And and I did it in 1 minute. It was a simple narrative because we were working with some of the big media companies and some of the retail media network teams within the retailers. And the key note to them was the innovation and AI they're trying to deliver in retail environments and other environments, but in the retail in particular, with CPG and the retailers coming together to do cool stuff. The need for the IT teams to support that, to make it scale and make it happen quickly, has never been more important. We've got a demo downstairs, virtual try-on. It's for an online but also an in-store equivalent. Now, the problem we have here is it doesn't work very well because the Wi-Fi or the internet connectivity in the Javits, which Verizon does not control or have any ability to influence, is not very good. Or because of the amount of people and the volume, it's not brilliant. So we can't actually run the demo. We're having to do a video and show people what it would look like. Now, this would quite often happen in a retailer where the line of business is going to do something cool because we want to drive upsell and personalization. We've seen only 16% of the retailers are happy with their personalization. So there's lots of investments going in and making it better. They do these cool things in the store, and then when they go to activate it, it just doesn't work very well because they don't have that connectivity. My role is we're helping the infrastructure teams be aware of what's coming down the line, what's the funnel, and the funnel is actually closer than they think. And can we help them augment their store network, which they're ultra protective of, because ultimately a lot of their revenue comes through the point of sale, the tills, and if there's anything wrong with that, they freak out, quite rightly, and the security policies they built around it that make it quite difficult to be flexible. So having the ability to do a standalone 5G FWA that can do your immersive experiences for your personalization or for your your operation efficiencies. If you're going to drop a computer vision camera in because you want to do something more funky around customer analytics, or you've got a particular shrinkage challenge and you need a camera in a certain place to do that, well, you can either spend a load of money doing cabling and trying to connect it to your network, or you can buy something that would just do that quickly at speed, and we can literally send these things out quickly. Now, over time, I think you'd look at your overall infrastructure policies within your store and build something suitable for the long term. But in the meantime, because the business needs to act right now or quickly, but procurement and infrastructure investments take time, and there's a conflict there. And I think that's where things like 5G FWA can be that little stocking filler, if you like, in between that.
Yeah. How does one evolve what is more like a locomotive train into a high-speed rail while it's running with passengers on it over the water with sharks below it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how you can't just be like, just take the engine out like while we're running and we'll just switch it. So if you have these, I like stocking filler, that type of, we would call it maybe a Band-Aid or a stopgap to escalate the performance of the locomotive or lead it towards some form of a higher performance. That's quite good.
So I guess there's two flavours for that for me. The big locomotives, the big global retailers, we index pretty well in that as a customer base, and I think, and that gives us experience in terms of how we would transition a customer from a particular technology to a newer technology, for example, and the process you have to go through, and turning up to a site to see a store manager to find out where things have to be installed and doing it out of hours, so you're not taking the engine out while it's running. It's maybe resting for a little bit and you've got limited time to do that. So there's a lot of experience, and it's not just us, but the value some of the right partners have is that they can manage that transition much better. But I think that the magic of that should be, in the past there's been tiny incremental technology benefits that have limited lifespan. And I think if you're going to go through that now, it's worth looking at a realistic funnel and how the business comes together. And this is, you know how difficult this is going to be, but you bringing the chasm closer together so that your CMO, your CDO, the head of operations and supply chain, everyone is working with the CIO and the CFO to say, actually, we don't need to keep doing this every 2 or 3 years and moaning every 2 or 3 years, it's shit, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. With the right investment, bringing together the right partners, you should be able to build something that is more sustainable because it will last longer. And that's where we're trying to add the value to at least think about that.
I have to say, there's usually a lot of hesitation on the CMO and the head of retail.
To put the money where the mouth is.
Yeah, they want it, but they don't want it because they really are very nervous about interruption. And the CIO or CTO or the team that's executing it is really under a tremendous amount of pressure.
When things go wrong now, people hear about it instantly. It's all over the press, all over social media, and so they have to be careful.
Yeah, so it's good to have options. And a CTO has to be a salesperson. They have to sell into everyone on how to...
And know what they don't need and step away from it, because quite often people don't listen. They're talking, they're trying to sell their stuff and realising that the customer doesn't need that. And 5G sometimes is a good example. Sometimes they don't actually need that yet. All they need is their current network to work. When the applications start needing the lower latency or the different level of GPU processing, that then leads into a different conversation, but they're not there yet. Right now they just need stuff to work, to your point, and some investments they've made aren't working as well as they should do, and therefore they're not getting scaled across the rest of the store footprint because they haven't seen the benefit they needed to warrant pushing it out.
Sure.
But if they did, they might see more benefit. But again, and that's the value we try and bring, is to help them scale that. What are the blockers? How do we help them do it at the lowest risk possible? Because we have a long history in doing this. Are we perfect?
Yes.
But we're pretty good. We're pretty good at this stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, tell me how IoT and automation are transforming store operations.
Slowly, I would say. And I'll give you an example of a customer we're working with, a global brand. They rolled out computer vision cameras to better understand conversion, because legacy conversion solutions were not as accurate as they could be. So we rolled out cameras for them. Again, it was all integrated into some retailers have the right stack and the right setup, and therefore it's easy to scale stuff. I mean, we did 40 test sites in 2 weeks. So if you've got it right, built right, things become easy to scale. So they start going from 70% accuracy to 95% accuracy on the people counting, but they want to get 100% accurate. So what we're looking at now is some iBeacon technology that integrates into the BLE within the wireless LAN that we provide as a managed service. But there's 2 forms of iBeacon. So one is for the staff to carry. Now it's anonymized because from a workers' council's point of view, they don't want to be saying, "Hey James, what are you doing over there?" But the point is, they're looking at their global store footprint, and with the stores that perform really well on a consistent basis, they're going to understand from the pilot where the staff generally hang out in the store environment. Are they spending a lot of time in certain areas? What are they doing? What behaviours can we get from that in the high-performing stores? And can we get that insight and share it with the lower performing stores? See, does that help improve performance? Is it because they have more people in these particular parts of the store, the fragrance area or the footwear area or whichever parts they are getting the most footfall and dwell time and interactions? In real time, could they use that to improve the lower performing parts of the business? So that's where we're seeing companies starting to play with IoT. One, for a practical reason, and then secondly, that's interesting, we didn't know it was going to give us that data. That could help us in a different way. And that's now then opening up other IoT projects and you mentioned RFID, iBeacons for inventory. There's now different requirements popping out of the woodwork depending on what they need to know. Digital product passports is creating another need for something across the supply chain and in the store. We've got other customers that have legacy things that help them do their jobs better, like when you're trying on an expensive piece of jewelry, you replace that with a tag or a token in the display case, so that when someone walking past notices, oh my God, it's missing, they go, oh no, it's okay, Christine's got it because Christine's tag's there, right? That's all fine. But these people aren't allowed to leave the store at the end of the day unless they account for all 5 of their tags. It can take people hours to find them because they dropped them down the side of the sofa, they've been lost somewhere in the till area. And that's not a good, you're having to stay behind after school detention, 2 hours of trying to find this thing. So could we swap that out for an iBeacon, similar to an Apple Tag type thing, but more enterprise grade? That means I can't find it, I just tap the button, makes a sound, find it straight away, off we go. But now I've got that tag that's doing these things, it's starting to let me know that actually James uses his tags a lot and his sales are really high. Erin doesn't use her tags very often and her sales aren't very good. Bad Erin. Now, could the store manager then start saying, actually, you've got to, as a coaching thing, you've got to use your tags. Take every opportunity to make someone try something on because you're going to sell something. The data tells us that, but they can't track that now to know what it would do. And then as a side benefit, and we learn all of this ideating with the customer, also then you'd know what items have been tried on. So in terms of what's hot, what's trending, why didn't they buy, was there reasons why, was it price, was it the size, wasn't it in stock? So again, understanding that could add value in how they operate their business and how they drive better outcomes and more revenue and everything else. And all of that came from an IoT conversation about conversion. And because we've got this integrated platform or network for this customer, we can do it globally for them. And some of the big consultancy companies that are in the mix, they can't do it. They can't do it. I won't mention any names. But so again, it's nice to show value where other people try and take the value away from a service provider when we can actually offer immense value if we're in the conversation.
And that sounds great. Thank you so much for your time, James.
No, thank you. It was lovely to
Appreciate
meet
it.
you, yeah.
I hope you have the great rest of the show at NRF.